Okay, today we're looking at trying to make it to a coffee shop and, of course, back. It's actually closed right now, so I'm basically just testing how long it takes me to get there. And then I want to, there's actually two coffee shops I want to try to test out. One is a little bit more dangerous to get to. So I want to try this other one first and then move to the more dangerous one later. I checked my spokes to make sure that they were in good shape. They had gone on for some bumpy rides, and some sticks got into my spokes. The spokes broke the sticks, but I was wondering if it also hurt my spokes. So I looked at them, and they appear to be just fine. So yay. Got Kung Fu spokes. I'm still saying that I need to make adjustments to my handlebars, raise them up a little bit so that I can sit back here. I can sit back at this spot and put most of my weight on my sit bones instead of where I put them right now, which is more on my hands than I want. So I'd like to change that if I can. Well, no, I can. I had the equipment to do it. Just have to have the mechanical ability to pull it off. So since I doubt my mechanical ability, I keep delaying doing it. At least my bike works now, and after I start messing with it, I never know if I'm going to get it back together again. I probably can. I keep looking at it. It's not that difficult. At least I don't think it's that difficult. It seems like it ought to be fairly simple. It should take, even with me, it probably should. I should be able to do it in one day. So, just a matter of getting started on it. Part of that is finding out how much I can actually stand at once. To doing some things you have to stand for, and I have a tough time standing for very long. So this house has been for sale for a while, probably because they're trying to get the old pricing. It used to be that the prices in here had pretty much doubled. So if you had a house for like $200,000, like my house, 2 years ago, well, maybe longer than that. Let's just say 6 years ago. If a house was worth $200,000, it's now worth $400,000. Or was. Prices have dropped a little bit, so now it's probably only $380,000. So some of the people that are selling their houses now are still trying to get the price that was pretty good 6 months ago, but it's not quite as, doesn't quite work nowadays. Although with a drop in interest rates, maybe that will help. It's only a half a point drop, but a half a point is half a point. It's pretty good. I think I want to change to assist number 2. That's going to increase my speed to nearly 15. It should stay below 15, between 12 and 15. So I'll be going a bit faster than normal. But I don't have really that far to go. I only have about 2 miles to go for this first coffee shop. The second coffee shop is about 5 miles away. So that would be like if I drove directly to it, it'd be like a 10-mile round trip. So not that far. My normal route is not direct though, so I probably will make it like a 15-mile round trip. Yeah, it's getting so that I'm able to get out earlier in the day. It used to be 7 o'clock before I could get out because it was too hot. Or early morning if I go in for like an hour. But now it's getting to where I can actually take off and go 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, look at all the traffic. I wonder what's going on. Weird. All right, finally. A little risky, but that car was going to slow down. Or truck. I'm not sure what the reason is for so much traffic. It could be there's an accident on the interstate. That reroutes traffic frequently to my neighborhood. It's a little strange traveling at this speed. Not used to traveling at this speed. Usually travel a little bit slower. Oh well, maybe I can get y'all a little story while we're traveling along here until I get to my destination. Okay, let's get into the reason you may have been looking at this video. I recently became aware of the trend by the e-bike manufacturers to offer 1,000 watts plus e-bikes and put them alongside of the legal 750 watts and under e-bikes. There is currently no state that allows 1,000 watt plus e-bikes to be on the bike trails or even on the bike lanes. Do they mention that in their sales brochure? Not normally. The main focus is faster speeds and better hill climbing, not the fact that you will be legally treated the same as an automobile, with the same restrictions to not being able to ride in the back lane and needing to get a license and insurance. So what I'm expecting to do today is pretty much rant about this deception by the manufacturers. We might first want to talk a little bit about the classes of e-bikes. The rules regarding e-bikes being treated as standard bicycles vary across the United States, and many states have adopted the 3-tier classification system for e-bikes that has been adopted by the U.S. government. Class 1 e-bikes are pedal assisted only. There's no throttle. The motor stops assisting at 20 miles per hour. It almost always treated like a standard bicycle, of being allowed to be on bicycle lanes and on bike paths. Helmets and age requirements vary by state. Probably need to slow down. haven't taken this route before, but I believe I need to go slow in order to make sure I have less chances of making a mistake. Class 2 e-bikes are throttle assisted and can be powered without pedaling. The maximum speed is still 20 miles per hour, as long as you're with the motor helping. It's also treated like a standard bicycle on bike paths, although sometimes states have restrictions on throttle use. Class 3 e-bike is pedal assisted only. Motor stops assisting at 28 miles per hour. In many states, because of this extra speed, these are not treated like standard bicycles and are usually restricted in some form or fashion. In fact, some places, helmets are required for these type of Class 3 e-bikes. So in summary, there are three types. Class 1, pedal assisted, maximum speed 20, motor power has to be 750 watts or less. Class 2, throttle assisted, maximum speed 20 miles per hour, motor power 750 watts or less. Class 3, pedal assisted only, max speed 28 miles per hour, still 750 watts or less. If you get a trend here, you see that they all require 750 watts or less to be legal. This is where the 1,000 watt e-bikes fail. When an e-bike exceeds 750 watts, it's also often classified as a moped or motorized vehicle. That's certainly the case in my state. This reclassification means that most local and state law prohibit these bikes from the bike lanes and the bike paths. The Consumer Product Safety Act set the legal framework for e-bikes, stating that only those with 750 watts or less can be classified as a bicycle. Anything higher is generally treated as a motor vehicle, subject to more restrictions. The deceptive marketing practices come in when companies are selling these 1,000 watt e-bikes and market them as powerful, fast machines, perfect for commuting. However, they often fail to highlight that these bikes are not legal on the bike lanes or the multi-use paths. This lack of transparency is a significant issue. Buyers think they are purchasing an e-bike that can be used like any other e-bike. Okay, let me get through here. So those people who purchase those bicycles, those e-bikes, later learn that they have the same restrictions as motorcycles or automobiles and cannot ride in lanes. Companies often target the commuters, promoting e-bikes as a solution to the traffic and congestion, when in reality, these bikes are not legal for the very lanes those commuters use. Bike lanes are designed with the assumption that a bicycle will be traveling 15 to 20 miles per hour. A 1,000 watt e-bike can hit speeds up to 35 miles per hour. This is a dramatic increase in speed, and one in which the bike lanes are not set up for, and bike paths are not set up for, making these bikes a potential hazard for the other cyclists and pedestrians. If they're traveling at this faster speed, they have a higher probability of creating accidents with pedestrians or other cyclists. They don't have to travel at that speed, but if they're not going to travel at speed, then why are they getting this bike, knowing that it's not legal? In many cases, if you're involved in an accident using a 1,000 watt e-bike or higher, the legal outcome is worse. Many cities and states consider the e-bike a motor vehicle and therefore a motor vehicle riding in a bike lane is illegal. So they should have had a license, they should have insurance, and the average bike rider may not have prepared for that. So this is going to be harmful in case of any type of legal issue. Even if a car hits you, you were violating the law when you got run over because you had a bike that wasn't supposed to be in the bike lane. One of the reasons why some people ride an e-bike is because they're trying to help the environment, let's say. And they're trying to help reduce congestion in urban areas. So it's kind of a positive narrative. But the 1,000 plus watt e-bikes can be a disruption to that positive narrative. And because the infrastructure, bike lanes, bike paths, and trails are not designed for the faster moving vehicles, this can create safety issues for everybody, including the bike rider. The 750 watt e-bike already provides enough power for speed in commuting. So the extra wattage of 1,000 watts or greater is simply unnecessary for most areas. Obviously, if you had a gigantic hills all around you, that may not be true. I feel as if the e-bike manufacturers have a responsibility to clearly label these 1,000 watt plus e-bikes as not allowed on bike paths or bike trails, that you must get insurance and that you must follow motorcycle laws. But they don't do that. I'm so kind of saying that I need for them to be honest and talk to the consumers and give them all the proper information so people aren't riding around thinking they can ride on a bike path when they are not legally allowed to do that. When I first was deciding on getting an e-bike, the main thing I looked for is one that met the criteria of class 1 or class 2. And the bike I have ships as a class 2, and it has a sticker on it claiming that it's class 2. Therefore, I recommend, if you're getting a bike, to get an e-bike, to get one that's is allowed legally to be on the bike trails, one that is legally allowed to be on the trail, on the bike lanes, and one that you don't have to do all the registering and helmet requirement and stuff that a motorcycle has. You might as well get a motorcycle. You're going to have all the laws of a motorcycle. Otherwise, what you're trying to do is to pretend that you are legal when you are not. So I'm basically saying all this because I just don't like the fact that there's a trend towards the 1,000 watt e-bikes. This is just going to get us banned. I mean, I did a video not long ago about the banning of e-bikes on a lot of private areas. And the reason is because the e-bikes in general were traveling too fast and it was too much trouble for them to enforce. If we start riding around with 1,000 watt e-bikes who are not even supposed to be there, we're just going to get banned from more and more areas. And they'll use that as excuse that it's just too much trouble to figure out which one are 1,000 watts and which ones are 750 or less. Therefore, they just ban all e-bikes and makes their life easier. I want to stay within the legal limits of the law. So please, if you're looking at getting an e-bike, get one that meets the legal requirements.